day number 2. So today's day 2 of doing a daily video log. So, we're going to go through exactly what I went through today in terms of training, nutrition, everything like that. Everything that's going through my days, just to be able to show you guys exactly what happens in my day. You can see how messy, you can't really see here, but you can see how messy my room is here. Desk. Very visual person, so I've got like massive whiteboards and stuff everywhere. So that's specifically for me working my business stuff. Did a business coaching session today. This is what we covered in terms of like working backwards, reverse engineering the process to be able to actually build a business and a successful business, and overcoming the mindset barriers that a lot of people actually have in terms of taking action. So ultimately what it comes down to when people are actually struggling or not doing what they should be doing, there is always a barrier which is actually holding them back, which is basically a limiting belief that they have about themselves or about what they're actually doing, which is actually stopping them from starting to take the action that they know will actually get them the end outcome that they want. In terms of business, it's like doing actions based on the wrong frame of mind to be able to get the outcome that they actually want. So the frame of mind is they don't want to sell, they don't want to do certain things. When if they have the mindset and the frame of actually providing value to people, then what's going to happen is provide more value to people over a period of time, and then more people are actually going to pay you for your service. The more people you provide value to, the more people that are willing to pay for your service. It's as simple as that. Money is basically just a value exchange for receiving value. So if you provide more value to people, people are going to be willing to pay you more money. It's as simple as that. So in terms of limiting beliefs, in terms of like training, fitness, nutrition, whatever it is, people see themselves as a overweight person. So they affirm and do actions that an overweight person does. If they see themselves as an athlete, then they would take actions that an athlete would take. What actions would an athlete take? And actions would be they would get up early, they would do their training, they'd do everything, and they'd revolve their day around their training, their nutrition, their mindset, all of these things. That's what an athlete would do. An overweight person's just going to do whatever. They're just going to eat shitty foods. They're not going to train because they're defining themselves as something. We basically all define ourselves as something, whether we realize it or not. So it's understanding, hey, cool, how can we define ourselves as something that's actually going to empower us to be able to get us from where we are to where we want to be. So it's a massively important thing. Back to the story at hand, bit of a rant there about mindset and motivation. Busy day today, lots of client check-ins. Tuesday is my client check-in day, so Transformation Tuesday, yep, boom, get a flex in there, just because that's what I do, I guess. Client check-in Tuesday, so it just means that like the majority of my work is done at a computer on a Tuesday. Had 3 appointments or something in person throughout the day to be able to get through those. Did some measurements for someone, check-in. Just very, very, I guess, boring stuff, but it's how I actually earn my money. So understanding that providing value for people in terms of their training, their nutrition, getting them to check in on a regular basis to keep them on track, to give them accountability is massively important for what I do. If they don't have that accountability, then they just fall off the wagon and then I don't know about it. So it's massively important to have those weekly check-ins, and some people require more, some people require less assistance, just depending on exactly where they're at. And that's the whole point of having a service set up, such as online coaching, where people can get the service that they need based on their individual needs. So each person needs something different. Some people need different things at different weeks. Some people need heaps of assistance one week and then none for 3 weeks. It's 100% person dependent. That's why online coaching is such an amazing service, because it gives people what they need rather than just a set time slot each week with a trainer. So it's massively important to understand that there's a massive difference between online coaching and then just an in-person appointment, booking up a specific amount of time with the trainer. So other things that we worked on today, I've got a webinar tomorrow on genetic nutrition, which is a massive thing we talked about in yesterday's video log. Massively important part of my business. Did an actual Skype with someone in Ireland again today, following up after it got hit After we had gotten his genetic nutrition results, took him through his results, and it's basically the same thing that most people say. Hey, I kind of understand this, but now that I know the importance of it, based on my body to be able to get the maximum result possible. So an example for me is when I have oats, I can have oats as like every now and then, and it'll be fine. And then some days it'll just after eating oats, I feel off. I have digestive issues. What my genetic profile actually says, I can have oats 4 to 5 times per week and I'm completely fine. If I have it more regularly than that, then I will have risk of digestive issues. The person who I ran through his genetic profile, he said just by changing his foods over the first 3 days, his client, because he's a PT, his client said that he had more energy and he was happier than they had ever seen him. And that's just from 3 days of starting to change his habits, starting to work on changing his food around that. And that's not even his primary limiting factor. His primary limiting factor for him is actually his mindset. So he has a very stimulated mind. So understanding he fits into the category of being a crusader, which means that he has a very analytical mindset. He wants to get things done. He wants to tick things off lists. And the way his brain works is an expression of his body and his genetics. So the way he thinks is a representation of the things that actually happen in his head. So he has a very dopamine driven brain, so he wants to achieve certain things. Goals are massively important for him. So understanding that means that I'm going to talk to him in a completely different way than I'd talk to or motivate myself or motivate any other client that I have. Understanding that information, I can reverse engineer exactly what he wants and what he needs to be able to get the results that he's actually looking for. So for him, he wants to be more productive, so I link everything to that. So understanding that that's his one of his number one driving factors. Everything that I talk to him about is about doing that. And if he gets benefits like he's more energetic with his clients as a byproduct, then that is an amazing win for him. So it's massively important for people to understand, hey, cool, if you don't know which foods are good for you and which are bad for you. So he's had like heaps of digestive issues and basically just been going on elimination diets, but now it's just like a trial and error kind of thing. This gives you the information that you need to be able to get you from where you are to where you want to be, having the most 100% tailored approach based on your goals, your needs. So it almost sounds like an advertorial. However, this is what I'm basically seeing on a day-to-day basis. When I'm doing these tests, the overwhelming consensus is, yeah, that does make sense. That does relate to me. I feel exactly like that. I do have those issues. I do have that risk of injury. So understanding that, once you have that base information, then you can actually apply it to whatever and get some of the best results possible. So it's amazing to be able to do that. So what do we got coming up? So tomorrow, as I said, you're going to be working on that, getting everything organized for the seminar to be able to talk about genetic profiling. Working with Dr. Cam McDonald. Got another event, a seminar on lead generation this Saturday, so preparing for that as well. Just working on a few processes to be able to optimize everything, and then just developing more leads for my business continuously. That's something I basically do every single day. Just take a couple of minutes here and there just to be able to get some new business in, and basically just invest in my business in the future. So just building up my brand just by spreading awareness of what I actually do is basically just marketing, branding. This is massively important to have a sustainable business long term. Will the work that I do today, tomorrow, pay off for me today or tomorrow? No, it'll pay off for me a lot down the track. But if I put in the work now, then it's an investment in the future. If you have the mindset of being in business for a long time and you're playing the long game over any kind of micro result, you're working on the macro, the big picture, then what's going to happen is you're going to have that pay off for you down the track. It's as simple as that. So the analogy is, I always talk about a bank account. If you have a bank account and you've made deposits from that, then you can make withdrawals from that at a later date. If you've only ever withdrawn from a specific bank account, whether it's in terms of building your business, whether it's in terms of developing a relationship with someone, if you've only ever made withdrawals, then there's no balance to be able to withdraw from when something happens. So if you build up those bank accounts in terms of the relationships that you have, in terms of your business, in terms of doing all of these deposits to be able to build up proverbial bank accounts in everything that you do, then you've got a life. you've got something that's going to be successful. You've got a relationship that's going to be successful. It's going to be everything like that. There we go, guys. I think that's going to be it for today. Didn't really touch on training, did I? We'll go through training then. So today I had a quick workout. Had a very busy day. Didn't end up getting training until late tonight, 6:30 p.m. Went and got my training in. Did a chest session, a bit of back and stuff, just to be able to keep the posture good, because especially working at a desk all day and then training chest, not necessarily optimal. So just worked on some postural stuff, and then did some chest work to be able to work on my chest, because that's a weakness of mine, especially the inner chest here, in terms of growing that. So doing a bit of rehab in terms of that, to be able to basically work on the weaknesses that I have, to be able to get them up to the standard that I actually want them at, in terms of getting the results that I want for competing, not this year but next year. So there we go, guys. That's an update on everything. Video log number 2. Over and out, I guess.